This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to talk to you about why so many marriages fail nowadays. And some of the reasons are the exact opposite of what's being told to you by the media and the so-called experts. This is in no specific order, but all of them are important and all of them are contributing to marriages failing. Number one, FOMO, fear of missing out. And it's been programmed into us by the media, by film, by pop culture, that if we are not doing something, that we're missing out. If we're not going on an adventure, if we're not taking a trip, if we're not shutting down the clubs, if we don't have plans for the weekend, if we don't live a life like other people on social media who show us fake and exaggerated examples of their lives, if we don't have a life like that, we are missing out. How dare you just sit there and be happy? You're missing out. That's what we're told. And we're told that if we stay committed to and love the same person for all of our lives, well, we're just missing out because there's so many other people out there. And there's some buildings you might not see if you are too serious about your marriage and spend most of your time working to preserve, protect, and grow that. It's FOMO, and it's obliterating marriages. It will make people think that their spouse is the source of their unhappiness. This person is holding them back. They could run off into the horizon and find all this adventure and fun and joy, but darn it, they're married. That's what society is telling us, and people do this too. A lot of times it's single friends, and they will try to get their married friends to just come out to the clubs with us. We're just going to have fun. And they present it as, see, this is what us single people do because it's so much fun and you're missing out because you're married. And they will encourage the person. And a lot of times it's women, not all the time, but it does seem to be like this happens more with women, that they will take their married friend to the club and they will tell her, this is what we do to have fun. You're missing out. Go flirt with those guys. Go dance with those guys. Let's dress up and let's act like we're all single even though you're married, because that's where the fun is. But the irony is that those single people are usually trying to get with someone. They're trying to find someone so that they're not single. And of course, people will tell you, no, I'm perfectly happy being single. But that's really unusual because we were made to be in relationships. And just simple biology, the way that men and women complement each other with opposing strengths and weaknesses, and how they can make such a good team if they're good to each other and they stick to and value their commitment and they have a family together. It's a wonderful process, a wonderful team, men and women. But there is effort in the world today to pit us against each other. I'm going to get into that in some of the points that follow. Number two is individualism. And there are some similarities between it and FOMO. But first of all, just let me say, there's nothing wrong with being an individual. We are all individuals. We all have unique attributes and features and desires and goals and dreams. But what has happened is that there has been a push really since the 60s and 70s for human beings to be more independent of each other and to seek independence from relationships and people in general. We have been encouraged to abandon our roots. As a matter of fact, people will often look down on you if you live in the town you were born in, where your parents are, if you stay around in your hometown. It's like, oh, gee, you never got out of this place, as though everywhere else is just so much more wonderful. And there's so many more opportunities somewhere else, as long as it's not where you are right now, because then we couldn't get you to have FOMO. So you see how some of this is tied in. But the idea is, if we can destroy family traditions, if we can destroy a sense of connection, community, and family, we can control the individual much easier because they don't have their family to rely on. They don't have their spouse to rely on and their kids and their extended family because they're on the other side of the country or the world. And then maybe they got divorced and they're convinced that they just need to track their adventure alone. They need to go off into the wild blue yonder and seek that adventure that's out there, because it definitely is, and don't you doubt it. It most certainly is. You couldn't possibly be happy just having a family and hanging around in your hometown. And I'm not saying that everybody should do any of those things. I'm just saying that there is certainly an effort. It was started in the 60s or 70s, and it has been designed to make us more individual and less of us being in families. That's just how it is. And it has wrecked marriages because that mindset of individualism pulls us away from our spouse. It pulls us away from our family to where we're just focusing on ourselves. And we almost feel like we are doing ourselves a disservice if we have these connections with our family and with our spouse, like we are letting ourselves down because we're not getting to experience whatever it is that's out there that we're being told is out there. But I can tell you that most people who do chase that eventually realize it's a mirage, it's an illusion, and that real happiness is when you can be in relationships, because we were designed emotionally, physically, and intellectually to be in relationships. That's one of our main purposes as human beings. That's why men and women have opposite physical features and opposite emotional characteristics. It's because we complement each other. We are an incredible team. And when we are divided, society does not do well. Before I get to number 3, get my free mini course to save your marriage. It's a powerful course, and it can help you to get started on the right track toward preventing a divorce and saving your marriage. You can go to marriageradio.com, and it's under the marriage tab. You'll see free mini course. It's to save marriages. It's powerful, and the price is right. So get that free mini course, but hopefully you'll wait until after this video. Number 3 is similar to the other two, but there has been a conscious effort by society to break down the traditional family. And if you're not in one of those, I'm not trying to get on to you or say that you're wrong or that you're hurting people. Nothing like that. I'm just pointing out that if we are asking why are traditional families, that's mom, dad, and the kids, breaking down, then we must look at the efforts to break the family down. And they have certainly been there. Though there are certainly good people who are lawyers, there is a motive for divorce because they do make money from that. And whereas there's nothing wrong with making money, it is an unfortunate circumstance we live in that divorce is so profitable. And we can't blame them because they figure that if you're going to get a divorce anyway, you're going to pay someone. And so it might as well be them. It's not necessarily their fault. It's more of a societal decay to where we are placing marriage down the list. We're putting ourselves first, which sounds like we should. We're often told, put yourself first. But actually in a marriage, you're supposed to put the other person first. And of course, they're supposed to put you first. And so that way you are getting the benefits of being, quote, first. But it doesn't work right when you are the one to try to put yourself first. You should put your spouse first, and they should put you first. That's what a loving relationship looks like. It's also the best for just dealing with life. Anxiety, fear for the future, avoidant attachments, things like that can be magnified or can even be created by a misguided effort to put ourselves first. And a lot of times that's because we have been mistreated in the past. We have been unhappy in the past. And so it seems like the answer is, well, I've got to look out for myself because no one else will. But if spouses took the attitude and took the position that I'm going to focus on my spouse and I'm going to focus on my kids, it's interesting how they actually become happier. And I'll give you a personal example. When my kids were born, I was someone who was focusing mainly on myself. I had to change simply because that's what happens when you become a parent. Your attention focuses on this little person because they depend on you. And because when you see them for the first time, you fall in love with them. It's an amazing thing. But what is also amazing is that even though I was focused on them, I was working for my kids and for my wife. And it seemed like a lot of my plans were based and centered around them. But I was happier. And part of the reason is because if you focus on yourself and you focus on your own happiness and you put everybody else second, you almost become too sensitive to it. You're too aware. This doesn't make me happy. I don't like this. This hurts. I'm frustrated about this. This gives me anxiety. Great. What do I have to do next week? But when your focus is on someone else's happiness, it's actually quite freeing. Because, for example, Christmas Day, when those little guys were opening the presents that my wife and I had picked out for them, and to see the excitement on their faces, to see their joy, to hear them laugh, to watch them run around the house playing with their new toy. There's no joy like that. And I used to not believe that was the case. I used to look at parents and think, wow, They are incredible people. They're putting themselves last. They're so sacrificial because they spend all this time at their kids' sporting events or ballet recitals or whatever it is. And I used to think that must be incredibly boring. And then it happened to me. And I became one of those parents. And I started to realize, you know what? This is actually a lot of fun. And it's actually very satisfying. It brings me a lot of joy to see them being happy. And it takes the attention off of myself so that I don't feel as bad and I don't feel like I'm missing out and I don't have FOMO, because my happiness, at least a large part of it, is from someone else's happiness. And it's a beautiful thing. And it doesn't sound that way until it actually happens to you. And when you can put the other person first, even though that might sound counterintuitive, especially when you have two people who do that, it's an amazing life. It's amazing how that change in perspective can be so powerful for a person and for a marriage. Number 4, the illusion of options. Stick with me on this one. It's part of the decay of our modern day. I have nothing against the internet and apps. I use them all the time. And I was probably one of the first people to really get into them because I did so as a teenager. And so I'm not anti-technology, but I can tell you this. One of the negatives, there's always negatives. There's always a trade-off. Even things that seem positive, there's usually also a negative trade-off. That's just part of life. And one of the things that's negative about dating apps, websites, and similar things like that is it gives you the illusion that you have all these options out there and that all you'd have to do is make a few clicks and you'd be on a date with somebody better than who you have. And the thing is, it's not true. It's actually a lot more difficult than that. It's messy. If you talk to people who are doing the online dating thing and they're meeting people, they talk about how difficult, how frustrating it is, and how the experiences are just not at all what they were hoping for. But even if we know that, even if we've experienced that, we can still fall into that trap of thinking that you have thousands and thousands of options and all you have to do is type in all these details, turn the knob a few times, and you're going to have Mr. or Mrs. Perfect right in front of you. And so this person with you, they better dot all the I's and cross all the T's because you can replace them like that. And it's not true, but people sure believe that it is, and they will leave relationships even if they don't have another one to go to just because they think that it would be easy to replace the person who they are with. And that causes us to not appreciate them as our person, as someone special for us, as someone who we can commit to, because we are constantly thinking that we could do better, and it causes us to look at them through a negative magnifying glass, and it always makes us think in the back of our mind that we could have one foot out the door, we could be fantasizing and imagining this perfect person. And if they don't work out, we can just dial up another perfect person. Do you see the pattern? And so we have the illusion that we have all these options, and the person we're with, if they mess up, or even if we've just been with them for a little while, and we mistake peace and stability for something that's boring, that's when the temptation really hits us. And it's hurting. It's killing marriages. Number 5, spouses have become a source of stress rather than peace for their spouse. I will never forget speaking to a man who told me that after work, that he would drive home and he would circle the block and he would count down how many times he could circle it before he started to think maybe his wife noticed him driving by. And then he would have to pull in the driveway and go in and see her. And he dreaded it. And of course, it happens both ways. If either spouse causes stress constantly for the other, if they rob them of peace, if they're disrespectful, it is greatly contributing to divorce. And within this source of stress is yelling. Yelling is something you should stay as far away from as possible. It is emotional violence to your spouse. It will tear two people apart. I want to challenge you to a month of no yelling. So do you accept the no yelling challenge? That means you don't yell at your spouse. You don't raise your voice. If you're having a discussion where the two of you disagree, you remind yourself, I love this person. This person has stood by me. We have a history together. We are a family together. We're not going to yell at each other because it is an attack and it will harm closeness. Couples who yell at each other will feel less close and less bonded and less warmth between the two of them. They will want to be around the other person less. They will start to see that person as stress. And so I challenge you to take the 30-day no yelling challenge in your marriage. Do it and see if you don't feel closer after the 30 days are up. And then I encourage you to keep going. Stop the yelling and save marriages. Save your marriage. Save your connection and your warmth with your spouse. If you accept the challenge, send this to other people who you know are married, and let's bring back respect, devotion, and love in marriages. Remember to get information on my free mini course for saving marriages. You can do so in the link in the description below, or go to marriageradio.com and click on the marriage tab, and you'll see free mini course under there. It's a powerful course to help you save your marriage. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching.